Hey there everyone, it's Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling at the best bullion bars and coins, shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. This is your weekly precious metals price analysis and opinion, where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum and palladium, of course. If you haven't seen it already, 5,220 subscribers. Woohoo! We hit over the 5,000 mark. Thanks to all of you who have joined the family. You've definitely joined the winning team here at Bullion Now. We were getting close to 5,000, but what really tipped us over, and we've gotten a lot of new subscribers in the last week, is this video right here, which has had in a short amount of time 17,000 views, called "Why the Gold Price Almost Doesn't Matter." The almost is the key right there. It's where we, you watch the video and it'll make some sense. I'll put a link to it above right now. And we've had a lot of comments on there, a lot of, thank yous for the video, etc. And a bit of pushback as well, which is great. And we love to see that. And we've actually responded to some of that pushback. One of the big ones was, well, you didn't take into account compound interest. So we did a part 2 of Why the Gold Price Almost Doesn't Matter, where we talk about factoring in compound interest as well. So take a look at that one too. And I think there's a couple of other pushbacks which we think we need to address, so we may even do a part 3 and even a part 4 to that, so stay tuned for that one. And of course, if you're not subscribed, well, you should be already. You know what to do. Okay, here we are in gold. We have hit, look at it, over 1,800 US dollars. Of course, we are looking at the US dollar price, as we mainly do. And this is the tradingview.com website. This is my little particular chart that I have. And let's take a quick look at how we got there. Very quickly, we'll go into the daily time frame. We've been talking about that $1,800 level for quite some time, and we've finally spiked above. And we spiked up around about $1,818. Now, didn't get as close, didn't get all the way to the, I think it was the 1825 level that I had been talking about previously. If you go have a look here, there we are. Oh no, there we go. I can do it right there. On the daily, actually, sorry, let me go back. I don't want to be too confusing. On the weekly time frame, there we go, zoom it in. On the weekly time frame, I had been talking about if we spike above $1,800, we might hit close to this little level right here. You can see the wick of that candle of 1825, roughly it was, where we didn't get that high, but it was close enough for jazz. I now think that that is not going to be a level of resistance or a significant level at 1825 because we came so close to it. So let's quickly talk about the stairway or the pathway, maybe the stairway is the better word for it, the stairway to $1,920, which is the previous all-time high in gold in US dollars. What are the next levels that we might see as small levels of resistance before we hit the all-time high? Let's take a look right here. There's not too many, and I'm using this weekly chart. Sorry for all the zooming in and zooming out. I hope you're not getting too seasick right there. I'll grab a horizontal line. As I said, this level right here of 1825, I think it's too close to the 1818 to now be a level of resistance. So that's just my opinion. Of course, the next one would be right here. As I said, it's a bit of a jump, but it's up at about 1863. Let's just call it maybe just 1860 to be safe, something like that. So we'll just pop it around about there. Around about 1860, I think, would be a potential level of resistance on the weekly time frame. And then, look, moving up from there, I think really you don't have much in the way between 1860 and 1920. If anything, it just might be this little level right here of around about, I was going to say 1885 roughly, but you know what, that's so close to 1900 that I'm going to put it at 1900, because that, even though we have hit over 1900 before, it's still going to be, it's an even number. It's a little psychological number, I guess. So I'm going to say 1900 might potentially be a little level of resistance as well. So I'll put those two in. So those are my two levels, and we'll go back all the way back over to where we are right now. As a couple of levels of resistance potentially. Let me move that and do that. So here is your 1920 right there. I think potentially you might have that as a little area of resistance at 1960, and then you might come back. I think this is going to be pretty much a sort of an up and down, like a staircase at the moment. And then maybe at 1900, but then it's not too far off 1920. What a great day that's going to be. We're going to have a massive celebration, aren't we, when it hits the all-time high, and particularly when it ticks over. Moving down from here, it potentially has a little bit of room to move down, I guess, when towards the end of the week, coming towards it. So we potentially have maybe a red candle week coming sometime soon. But if it has a red candle from here, then I would expect it to go down to around about anywhere between here of about 1765 and this level right here at about 1750. So between 1750 and 1765 would be a level of support that I could see occurring. And but potentially, and we don't have crystal balls, but potentially you could see even a spike up in the next week, and then we have a spike back down, and that's the staircase where we move up to say 1860 roughly maybe, and we come back down to 1800 as the support level, and then we're on our way to 1920. But of course I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't say 100%, but I've given you my targets lower and I've given you my targets higher. My opinion is, if we take a look at the monthly time frame, so I give you an analysis and then I give you my opinion. It is now, and I was saying about June 30th, I thought might be, we could reach the all-time high by June 30th. That was way off mark. I was definitely wrong with that. Don't think it's that far away now, as in I don't think it's that much of a stretch now to have a nice green candle all the way up to 1920 in this month, in July. So I'm saying my opinion is, and I'll stick with it, that we could potentially hit the all-time high by the end of this month. We've still got 21 days in which to do so. And if you take a look at previous green candles, there's been huge spikes in a month. So, we'll look at this one right here, for example. We went from $1,400 all the way up to $1,550. So a $150 move. And what's this? So 1755 to 1900. Oh, it's not 920. It's not that much more. And you've certainly had larger spikes in previous history as well. So it's really not out of the realm of possibility just to have a nice, lovely spike on the monthly candle up to 1920. That's what I'm going to call for this month. That's my opinion. And if I'm wrong, no problem, I will own up to it. So that is gold in US dollar terms. I've had some people going, do Australian dollars, please. My thing about Australian dollars is we're really the price is really centered around the US dollar price because it is the world's reserve currency. So it almost doesn't matter, in my opinion, where the Australian dollar price goes, and doing a technical analysis of that, because it depends what do I always say, what the Aussie dollar is doing against the US dollar, because that's just floating against the US dollar. But let's just take a look at gold in the Australian dollar anyway, just for funsies and to appease some of the subscribers. Yes, I listen to you too. XAUAUD. So, as you can see, we had that spike up to 2,770 Australian dollars, a spike back down to 2,400. That was a good day. We were very busy in the store that month, I should say, when particularly when it spiked down to 2,400. And look, if I was looking at this on a technical analysis point of view, even though, and pretending that we don't float against the US dollar, then I would say we are heading up higher. Just based on purely technicals, if we didn't have the US dollar floating thing with the Australian dollar, then I would just look at this and go, okay, a spike up to there, spike down to there. This is the start of a green candle on the monthly time frame. I think we're going to head higher. So let's just call it for what it is. In terms of pretending there's no float against the US dollar, because we don't know what could happen in the world. Something could happen, someone could tweet something, or something could happen in somewhere in the world, and it affects the US Australian dollar price. So we could see potentially a move down if, for example, the US dollar has a huge strengthening and goes from 70 cents to 75 to 80 cents to to parity or whatever. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that does affect the price, right? But again, now I'm rambling, but again, based on just a pure technical, I would say we're going to have a green candle month in terms of the Australian dollar price. So, of course, we would need to get up to and break above the 27.50 level. Thinking just sort of blue sky thinking for a second. If we were to spike above This is, I'm thinking, a few months down the track in Australian dollars. If we were to spike above 27, where would we go to next as a key level? Well, we would be in all-time high territory. So if we're talking just purely technical analysis, again, not based on the US dollar price, the next major level of resistance on the Australian dollar time frame, Australian dollar price, is this trend line right here. So there's nothing in between to really stop it. But that's, again, just doing it on pure technical analysis, not taking into account the floating with the US dollar. So that's the Australian dollar in gold. Let's take a look at our good old friend silver. Silver in US dollars. Okay, so like last week, or because of last week, I had suggested that this level right here might be a level of resistance at around about $19. I think it was $18.90, $19 level. And you can certainly see that has been a level of resistance on the weekly time frame. Let's take a look on the daily. Yep, you can see that lovely spike to just above my $18.90 level, and it's around about $19. So I will call that a correct call if you don't mind, because it's also butting up against this trend line. Take a look at this. Again, I hope I'm not giving you some kind of, I don't know what the technical analysis of zooming in, zooming out term would be. It wouldn't be vertigo, but I hope I'm not giving you that. But you can see this trend line right here, through that level, and that level right there, and a beautiful little hit there almost of that particular trend line. So I would call that a correct call. Looking positive for silver. I could potentially see it a little bit of a green week, like gold. I could see a week of red candle. A red candle. I could see a red candle week. Slow your words down, Joe. A red candle week coming up soon. I won't say it's going to happen next week, but if next week was a red candle right here, it would be this one right here. Where could it spike down to? I think the lowest it would spike down to would be down to this level right here. If you can see, I've got that previously drawn in, of about $17.40 in US dollar terms. And that would be a quick dip as well. But moving higher from here, so I'll just say the low for me would be at $17.40. And the next level we're looking at, of course, spiking up above this trend line, we'd be looking at this level right here of $19.70. So that's in the weekly time frame. If we take a look at the monthly, I think it's that next big one. That's that $19.70. Yeah. So we need to break through the $19.70 level before we can say confidently that we're heading up to that $21.20 level, which is that big one right there, around about $21. But it's looking positive. So that's my opinion. If we have a red candle, we might be spiking down, maybe down to $17.40. That's as low as I see it going. I do have these previous levels drawn in from last week. You can just pause this and check that out as well if you like, just in case it heads lower. What's that, $16.40 and $16.20? But I think around about your $17.40 would be the lowest that we'd hit in the next, couple of weeks. But of course, we'll do an analysis next week or the week after. And see how we went. So that is in silver. And of course, look, I will do silver in Australian dollars. XAU. Where are we? XAG. AUD. There we go, right there. So silver in Australian dollars has peaked at, we've had a couple of peaks. So we had that $28.80 level. That was back in August, September. And then in February, we had another level, about $28.70. And that spike all the way back down. When the US dollar went back down to about $11, we went back to about $19 roughly. And take a look right now. We are around about $26.80 something. We hit a level of about $27 roughly. Again, depends what the US dollar is doing against the Australian dollar. But it's looking positive for me for a rise in the Australian dollar. So we'd have to break above the $28.60 level roughly in order for me to be confident that we'd be going even higher. So that's silver in Australian dollars. Look, moving lower. In Australian dollars, I'd say you'd be looking at around about here. I'll pop in a horizontal line. There's a level of support. Yeah, look, take a look at that. That's a huge one. Look at that. That is massive. Look at that. That's about $23.15. Around about 23. Look at that. Right there. And right there. Right there, roughly. there. What's that, 4 or 5 hits? So that's, for me, a level of absolute support now at around about that 23 Australian dollar level. So I think that's a strong level of support on the Australian dollar currency of $23. And I've just talked about moving higher as well. And with silver as well, we'll do like a blue sky thinking, where do we think we'll go eventually after we break out of the all-time high of $50? But that's probably not coming in the next couple of weeks. Gold is going to hit its all-time high way before silver does. So we'll do the gold one first. All right, XPT for platinum. XPT right here. Pretty similar call to last week. It's indeterminate for me, even though we've had a little bit of a spike above. Taking a look at it on the weekly, we did have a spike up to from $800 all the way up to, I think it was about $860. That was a pretty decent spike, but we did fail to break above the 863 level right there. As you can see, it's the previous high. So it's not out of the woods just yet for me. So I will continue to keep my lower targets right there at about 650, and you've got my higher targets right there. I think we're just in a bit of a trading range at the moment. It has yet to make a decision which way it's going for sure. So that's the short answer for me. Platinum, indeterminate at this stage. Indeterminate, I should say. And Palladium. Take a look at this on the monthly time frame. We are starting to head into, we're not all the way yet, but we're starting to head into oversold territory. We came off this high of 28.65 US. That is the low of 1500. Man, can you imagine nabbing that dip right there? That would be pretty cool. And then selling back here at 23.30, where it had spiked back up to. That would have been a great play. But we've since had, it's a weird one. Look at this. Let me take this on the weekly time frame. Definitely looking just like a consolidation through time, but we're coming up to some kind of apex. Let me see if we have. And again, I'm just doing this as I usually do. I do this stuff on the fly. Yeah, no, well, that's certainly broken. That's certainly broken. That's broken as well. Wow. Okay, look, I'm going to call this indeterminate for me. Whether we're definitely moving higher, definitely moving lower, and I'll just keep my same targets as previous. If we move down, I think the support level would be here at 1630, and the little level of resistance right here would be, as you can see, as I pointed to it last week, this level of support, which was support, then became resistance, and it will be right there at 2250. So that's Palladium. That's pretty much it. Indeterminate for me for Palladium, indeterminate for me for Palladium. I am bullish on silver and bullish on gold in the short term. Let's say in the next month or so, I'm bullish on both gold and silver. So that's my opinion on all four. Of course, head over to Bullion Now YouTube page, youtube.com/Bullion Now, to join the family. And of course, bullionnow.com.au. Now we've had some shortages in the metals, and it's basically based on demand. We've had a lot of people buying in the last few weeks, particularly Victorians in Australia, because we're Victorians in this state here, we're going through another lockdown, a mini lockdown. So people were flooding the store trying to get metal because they thought we might have been closing. We're not closing as of right now. We're still open for in-store customers. It's preferable that if you don't mind, you can just walk in if you want, preferably make an appointment. It makes it easier for us if you can. But there's a little less range on the website at the moment. We're doing our best to get more range. We're constantly speaking to, the mints and refiners, and we're hustling as much as we can. A quick tip or a hot tip, I think sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours, over the weekend sometime, definitely, we're going to release another video, which will be a silver coin that will be available for sale. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do that over the weekend. Don't just keep checking the website all the time. Maybe wait for the YouTube video. Now, what you should do is, and I don't think you can do it right now because I'm logged out, but you want to make sure wherever that notification bell is, it's somewhere on our page. It's somewhere around the subscribe button, I believe. Hit the notification bell so you get a push notification to your mobile phone or to your email of when our video is uploaded, because you should get it straight away. Because what tends to happen is we release a video saying, hey, we've got a new coin for sale. It's up for sale right now. We've just released it on the website, and bang, the stuff tends to go really quickly. So you don't just want to be subscribed to the channel. Of course, that's a prerequisite, but you do want to make sure you're getting notified as well, just because you want to get in quick. Even when it's, even if we put, say, 1,000 ounces of something up, if you don't check your subscriptions for a couple of days, your stuff could be gone. The metal could be gone. So just keep that in mind. So potentially a video coming in the next couple of days if we can get the unboxing video made in enough time today, because we are very busy in the store. And now I'm really rambling. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you hopefully next week for another technical analysis. Take care, and we'll speak to you soon.